Yeah, so put on the
Yeah, so I
listing
got the
like
shingles
new
done in
roof,
2005.
right?
They're basically new.
Put on the listing.
Yeah. Can you mention that? Can you talk about
Brand
the
new
shingles?
roof done, 2011.
Yeah.
God,
No, that's a faux pas right there, dude.
that's a
You can't say
commercial.
brand new. First of all, brand new implies it's never been used, and the fact that it's been installed, you got to be, you can say newly installed, but brand new, that's a liability right there. The other one is
Is that a
roof.
fact?
You can't say roof. You can't say I got a new roof.
Right. You need to say shingles.
You need to say shingles.
Are these facts, TK?
These are facts. These are all,
Is this what happens?
in my world of legal understanding, my depth of contract law and case studies that, I have no firsthand experience with. There's a few things that they teach us here in real estate school. And real estate
Real
school
estate
is not
school.
always a school, sometimes it's reading things on the internet, but
Back to
it's all
this.
part of the schooling of real
Okay.
estate thought,
Go check
right?
out this thing on the internet.
Yeah. And you go, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. The lawyer says, the courts say, whatever. I haven't been in front of a judge, so I don't know for sure. And I wasn't
Doesn't
in the cases, but this is what I've read.
well, doesn't Frank sit you guys down or have some
Oh, absolutely. We do. We have
expensive
lawyers come in.
trainer
We have
come
all that
in and
stuff.
say,
There's just
yeah,
so much information, so like nobody knows it
don't
all.
put brand new,
But you can't put brand new.
whatever you do.
Can't put new roof. You got to put shingles. And put a date. If anything, just put a date. Say shingles 2017. Boom.
Do
Facts.
you ever get a client that's like, what do you mean I can't put new roof? Like, just put fucking new roof, man. You want the job? Put new roof.
So I have a listing right now that the
2009.
house was built in 1850.
1850.
Yeah. And it was picked up and moved to a subdivision in Markham. And so it was transported. So the city of Markham sells everybody these lots. You then go and get a permit and plan to build like a heritage house. So you're saving a heritage house from being destroyed by a developer, evil developer, right? And usually these are not designated houses, but sometimes they could be. But usually they're just old houses and stuff. This one here, I can't remember if it was or was not designated before, but now it definitely is because it's in this subdivision. It's been preserved. And so they picked up the house.
Like
I'm going to ask you a question. They picked up the house from Unionville and brought it to this subdivision in Markham. Okay. They built a brand new foundation. They stuck it on the front of the foundation, built an entire addition equal to the size of the transported house on the back. So now it's a 2-story house, double the size that it was before. Brand new foundation. They took this original structure because it's in the front. They kept the outside, the siding, the framing, the post and beam type of construction, the windows, because that's one, and gutted it and changed every single thing else on this house. It's literally 75 to 90% all new materials in this house, built in 1997. When was the house built, Daryl?
When was the house built?
When was the house built?
1957.
Who the hell knows is the answer?
Oh.
It is what it is. You gotta. It's a unique situation. Look,
Who
so
the
I
fuck
just
moves a house to use
whole
part of the
subdivision.
house?
The whole subdivision's there. I'll give you the address later. You can
What's
go
the
check it out. The
point?
whole neighborhood's like this
What's
because
the point?
because developers want to save the houses because they
What?
can build on the land. If you don't, so imagine you buy 10 acres and it comes with a land that's designated heritage because of the house that's on it, and you got an option to give that house to someone for free. They will come and pick it up and move it to a new location. The city's behind it 100%, and your land is no longer considered heritage because the house is gone. How would you feel about that? Pretty good.
This is so dumb. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so in the 90s, this is the first and only in North America. They took all these houses and they moved
Can
them
you
from
imagine the paperwork involved in
the city did it all. It's all done. No, the city's all done. No, not the paperwork.
Imagine like the woman
coordination
or the guy in the city going, no, they have to move them to another site. We're going to keep them as heritage designation, but then they can do what they want. As long as this happens.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that sounds like a great idea. That sounds like it makes a lot of sense. Let's get them to move an entire subdivision of old houses over here to keep the heritage designation so that the developer can make a whole bunch of money over here.
And you can preserve the houses. Yeah.
and
So,
preserve the houses.
and then also what they did was they
This makes a lot of
revolutionized the
sense.
restoration of heritage homes.
It didn't cost any more to buy the new houses, I suppose, right?
The lot was given at a
developer-
discount.
The lot
And-
was given at a
and
discount.
there's a 5-year period of time where the city
Who had to
registers
move the
an
houses?
encumbrance.
You said that the developer didn't have to pay. Who's moving these goddamn
The
houses?
owner, because they get an incentive from the
owner.
city. The
An
city,
incentive from the city. Who pays
There's-
for this incentive?
the city pays for it and says, we
With
bought the
magic
land for
money?
X.
Yeah.
We divided up all these little lots and made a subdivision, plan of subdivisions in place. The market value of these lots is X. The city didn't pay X. They paid much less. They bought the land. They did this subdividing. So now they're saying, okay, instead of paying at this time back in the 90s, 200 grand for the lot, we'll sell it to you for 60 grand. And so, but if you sell within 5 years, you owe us the difference between the 60 and 200 because we gave you this great discount. We don't want you flipping it. After 5 years, the property is yours and you can live there forever. So people are like, oh, that's a good incentive. So they go and they get a house. Maybe they pay, maybe they get it for free, whatever it is. But the coordination of disconnecting hydro lines and
This
going
is
around
so
bridges and all that kind of
stupid.
stuff, there's about 2 or 3 companies who do this, with experience. They'll come and pick up the house and move it, and you build the foundation. And on one of your family drives, you need to go to this street. I'm going to give you the address. You need to check it out.
Yeah, it better be worth it, man. Because
Well,
this
it's
is
not
a
going to be like
lot of
making you
effort.
money or anything, but it's
No, but like,
definitely
how cheap could this land have been for the developer to like even go through, even
I-
listening to this whole fucking idea?
I had a site at Mark 9th Line and 14th, and it was a builder came to me. He wanted to sell 5 lots, and basically at the end, I'm like, this is like 2015 or 16. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, you're not going to make any money on these lots because you have these 2 lots that you have to do heritage. I'm like, in order for you to turn a profit, you have to sell for like whatever the number was. It was way higher than what the market would have bared. So I said, let's just sell the development to somebody else, and then like they'll figure it out. So we sold the development, sold the raw land, and there was 2 heritage properties on it. One of them was like, anyways, they're old houses, right? So in that particular case, which hasn't happened yet, because I know the guy who bought it, he's still hanging on to it, hasn't done anything yet. They could then go and get permission to pick up those houses and move them to another site. And then they would have the ability to be able to develop this beautiful parcel that's like amazing. Can't remember the size of it. It's like got to be at least 2 or 3 acres right at the corner of 9th and 14th.
So do you post the house on like Kijiji and say, okay, pickups only?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is this whole fucking
Or you
crazy-
buy the lot as a developer and you make that
Oh.
part of your pro forma, which is that, you need to move this house. Because
Move
actually,
the house.
actually, when we were doing the plans initially, we were going to put the house in the corner. We were going to pick it up because it's in the middle, move it to the corner, give it its own lot. But again, it was just stupid. It was a stupid idea. Anyways, the point of this story, Darryl,
What's the point of this story?
you're like the best
but-
interviewer ever. I just wanted to tell you one thing, and then I'm talking like crazy here.
What are you
Was that the
talking
client
about?
said to me, they don't want people to know or not know because it's like so obvious, like you don't not know, but they don't want to advertise as a house that was built in 1850,
Okay.
right?
Is it on septic and well?
Nope.
Hmm.
Everything's new. 1997. It's
97.
just the shell, right? So
Right.
I mentioned that it's in the Heritage District there, and I mentioned that it was done in 1997, and
Oh, is this
you
what
know,
we're talking about? You got a listing coming up in this area?
it's on the market. It went up a couple days ago. I got a bunch of showings.
Okay. Now I get it. Now I understand.
You missed the
what's
whole point.
going-
That was like the big first
Well, you
sentence
were
I said. I
jumping
got
all
this
over
new
the place.
listing.
Is that how you started?
Yeah,
I guess I got to listen a little more closely.
a little bit better.
I was blinded by rage listening to this stupidity of this heritage
If
nonsense.
I'm giving you ideas right now,
Moving
and I got
houses,
insider
bro.
info on this project now too. So if
Oh,
you ever
good.
buy a property that has a heritage house on it,
Yeah.
come
I've
talk to
done
me.
it before. I've
talk
had
to
to
me.
make these stupid deals.
Okay.
We 50 scholared, which was a deal that I was lucky to be a part of and sell to Lanterra. And part of it was to move a goddamn house like over, I don't know, it was from like maybe 70, 80 feet. We had to move the house over.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much money goes into moving that stupid house over because it's heritage for some stupid reason? Like, you're not, people have to pay for that.
Mhm.
Somebody's paying for that. And the developer's not going, you know what? Like, because it's heritage and because I make so much money every day, like, I'm not passing this one on. Right. I don't think that would be reasonable. I'm gonna eat this one myself. Right. This is what he's thinking. Right.
I'm nostalgic.
It's another line item like every other line item. But this one's a stupid expensive one because imagine how much it costs to move a damn house. Even those other houses you're talking about, like somebody's eating a bill somewhere. So is it really worth it to have this old house moved? TK, there is so much stupidity. I can't even believe it. And what a segue into like the brilliant mind trust we have prognosticating like the amount of jobs that'll be available or eaten up or taken. I don't even know what the people that want to sound super smart, they say the recent print, TK. If I was an economist, I'd be like, the most recent employment print, but I'm not. And I don't understand what that
We're
means.
less smart than those guys.
We're not less smart. We just talk like English. We talk so people understand.
We want people to understand. I think that's more important.
I want to understand.
I'm trying to figure it out.
How the fuck can you be off by 100,000? And it's not like 100,000 out of like a billion, right? It's like they guessed 5,000 and it was 104,000 TK. Like this is
but they always have jobs in seasonal time like that. You know, job gains that are unexpected or
people
like,
are saying that that's not it this time, TK.
but
It's
always
not
this
seasonal.
time. It's always this time.
This time's different, TK.
This time's different.
What
I'm hearing
the hell,
Amazon's
man?
dropping 18,000 people. I'm hearing
No,
there's
it's
lots of companies.
Amazon and another company. There was a second one lumped in there in that 18,000.
No, Amazon was 18,000. The other one was 8,000.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Holy Jesus. That's a lot of people all of a sudden going, shit, what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do now? Fuck.
Yeah, they're going back online.
Can't sell real estate. That was my backup plan.
That was the backup plan. They got their license. They're driving Uber too before, and then that wasn't going so well.
It's like realtors. It's realtors go and get real work.
Why don't realtors also drive Uber? I'm sure some of them do.
No. Ubers.
Yeah.
It's TK. Don't you know?
No.
Realtors they don't have enough time to be Uber drivers, but investors do. Investors and Ubers, that's like the same thing now.
And they trade while they're driving?
Why not? The people in the back seat are probably trading real estate too. Like this is just a hub to do it.
Oh, thinking about trading.
Yeah.
Darryl.
What do you got?
Pre-construction condos.
Pre-construction condos. Yes, people are coming to you now. This is scary.
No, people aren't coming to me for pre-construction condos. It's not happening over here. But there was a site back in 2014 at Yonge and Finch where the developer took off with like $12 million.
Took off?
Yeah. Is
this an allegation or is this like this?
I don't know what the follow-up is on that, but that was all the news articles back then.
You haven't had enough time to follow up, TK. It was only in 2014. What kind of research?
Well, I just remember the news back then, and so I touched on it today because I want to talk to you about some of the fraud stuff that's been going on, right? And so this was one of the fraud cases where the developer basically took all the people's deposits, said that they were going to build this amazing condo, and then the lawyer released the money directly to the developer from the trust account, and the developer took off apparently to Korea.
Was it a Korean developer?
I don't know. But
this story has holes, TK, all over the place. Okay,
what do you mean? So what holes?
So Korea has no factor here at all. It just so happens.
Oh
that
no,
he
the
went
lawyer,
there?
the lawyer was Korean, and the person who had signing authority for the developer was Korean. Yeah.
Oh, so the developer was not the scoundrel. It was the guy working for him.
It could have been both. Okay, maybe there's a couple holes in the story, but the main thing, right? The main thing is people who have got pre-construction condo contracts out there right now, right? How worried are they about those deposits, Darryl? What is the protection that they have for those deposits?
I think Terry, which we all know does a great job protecting the people. but I think they have up to $25,000 protected in deposits there.
Great. But if your developer goes bankrupt
Then you get 25 grand. What do you
out of
mean?
your
This is a great
100,
deal. Well, hey, TK, listen,
yeah.
nothing's perfect here in Canada. No,
CDIC
I
is usually insured
imagine.
up to 100,000. But I imagine there's some big deposits out there. And if any of these developers go belly up,
Yeah.
and that money is misappropriated,
Yeah.
that's a bigger.
I don't think that it can be like, I don't think it vanishes though. I think it just becomes harder to get if it went somewhere other than a trust account, which a lot of times you can buy like a bond so that you can use those deposits towards other stuff.
People do funny things when the market starts to change, man. I'm
Yeah, but
telling you,
that
it's
bond
gonna
is now
happen.
responsible. Like there's a line, there's a trail to follow here. It doesn't just vanish, I don't
Yeah,
believe.
but people do things. People do things.
Unless
Like
the
there's a lot of
lawyer,
real
yeah.
estate. If you go in the real estate counts of Ontario and you just look at the history of brokers who took off with the, deposit money, doesn't happen often, but it happens. And there's a whole bunch of forgery along the way. Back when the market crashed in the late 80s, early 90s, all the brokerages were going belly up, right?
Sure.
So my dad would tell me stories where like you would negotiate to have the deposit. So you'd have the buyer, right? And buyers are gold, right? Sellers are like pain in the ass. You don't want them. So my dad would say you would try to negotiate with the buyer's deposit to say, look, our brokerage will hold it. You guys are like this small Mickey Mouse brokerage. I don't trust you guys.
Oh
You
yeah. Listen, it's a whole
That
thing
money's going
now.
somewhere.
Every deal that I work on, it's always a struggle. Who's going to hold that
Who's
deposit?
going to hold the deposit, right? Because
And
those brokerages are going to go belly up. And there's brokerages today,
Hmm.
who are in those same shoes if they don't start performing on their sales. Now, their trust account shouldn't be touched and everything else. I get it. But every once in a while, there's that one. Like there
Oh
was a
yeah.
guy, hockey in
I got to
Pickering,
pay for this Bentley.
he was gambling and, misappropriated a ton of money,
Where
hundreds of
was
thousands,
this?
if not millions.
Where was this?
Pickering Hockey Club about 10 years ago, right? He was the treasurer, right? So again, this happens. Honest, law-abiding people, have problems and money goes missing, right?
Boom.
So
Vanished.
this happens in real estate brokerages as well too.
Okay, so you cut off the discussion about jobs to talk about fraud, and then you didn't even bring up like the most prominent fraud in the storyline at the moment. Which
I know we're getting
to
there.
be honest with you, it's kind of rude. But one, it was rude, but two, TK, there's like nothing on this story out there. There's like
not yet
nuggets, like
nuggets.
tinbits, not even tinbits.
But more importantly, when markets change, that's when fraud starts to happen even more. So 2008,
we haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, when the market changed in the States, there was a lot of fraud where people would rent out a house that was vacant. So the house would be vacant, it'd be under like foreclosure or something, And so then all of a sudden someone would go back to their house later on and there'd be someone living there and they'd say like, I'm renting it from so-and-so. And they'd be collecting money. Title fraud is what happened here with this couple in Toronto recently.
I think it was more than title fraud, wasn't it? Like what's it called? Identity theft.
Yeah. So they basically sold a house that didn't belong to them, right? And I remember when I was getting into the business, the FinTrack requirements came out because they were talking a lot about these frauds. And really what happens is like
it was more money laundering FinTrack than fraud, wasn't it?
But on our side of things, so what to look out for and everything else, because I don't know what really happened before on the identification level, but basically real estate agents didn't have a lot of responsibility to ID their clients.
No, before it was like, what's your
Jim,
name?
right? Yeah, Jim.
Jim.
Sign here, Jim. Thank you very much. Right. So there wasn't a lot of responsibility on the agent side. But what the fraudsters do
spell that
is they get inexperienced people who usually speak different languages than each other. Right.
I have noticed a trend.
And then, so that way it's all set up really well. Usually they used to have somebody inside the land registry, right? They used to have someone inside the land registry to be able to make this work. And they would be able to have like, forged paperwork. But I guess the easiest way really would just be to have forged identification. Now, here's the catch. This is where I'm confused. Getting the money afterwards. the lawyer would have to release the money to another party.
You'd think.
Well, they can't give it to the guy who's on the title. I mean, he goes to the bank. That's not his bank account anymore, right? So, or that's not his bank account at all. So they'd have to be able to have some sort of direction letter that said, hey, we want to make sure that these funds go into Darryl's account because, you know, I owe Darryl some money and, you know, that's what I want to happen with the proceeds.
Do you think they had like reconstructive surgery as part
Make
of the
them
scheme?
look like it.
Well, didn't somebody go like,
I think they just have fake IDs. I mean, you
Did
can get
they-
a fake ID. You didn't have a fake ID when you were young?
I did.
Yeah. What was
I
your fake
made
ID
it.
like? How much
Horrible.
resources did you have?
I had Scotch tape and a pencil.
Right?
That's
So
how
these
we
guys probably
rolled,
have some
man.
pretty sweet ass resources.
I did a really good job though with Scotch tape and a pencil. You'd be surprised.
I just found a guy who looked like me.
I think the places that I used to get into, they didn't really give a shit about my ID at all. They just wanted me to buy like probably back then it was probably $1.50 for a beer or something crazy.
Yeah.
Back
Tell
in
us.
my day,
Tell us.
back in my day, beers were $1.50 a piece.
Yeah.
Back in my
Mm.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Back at
Well,
the Brunswick house, probably less than $1 when you bought a pitcher.
Fraud's out there, you know, and we have mortgage fraud. We've got this title fraud.
We
We've
haven't
got-
even seen the kind of frauds that are out there. Like, wait till
Yeah.
some of these funds that have been buying up apartment buildings left, right, and center while everybody's going, how did they pay $400,000 a door for that thing like 2 years ago?
Mhm.
All of a sudden it's like, I think we're over leveraged. We better start selling some stuff just to like keep our balance sheet kind of healthy.
Mhm.
I think. I don't
Mhm.
know. There were people paying cash for everything the last few years? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But we did have a guest on the show last week who said that, you know, in order to maintain those prices, either the terms of the deal have to be favorable for the buyer or the buyer has to have cash, which is a pretty bold statement
There's
to
only
say, hey,
so
don't
many
worry, I'll sell your
deals.
building, but we'll just have to find a cash buyer.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of cash. Don't get me wrong. And there's a lot of deals that I suppose can be done for cash, but like there must be a ceiling for the amount of actual cash equity that somebody has that they want to throw at a project.
Mhm.
I think. But I mean, I guess if you had so much cash like right now, like at some point the deal of the century will come to you and you'll be able to just boom. I don't care about rates being at 9% or whatever the hell they would be at. I don't
Mhm.
care about your damn appraisals and valuations. Oh, what a wonderful world that would be, TK.
Yeah.
I need me $100 million cash stat. Let's go.
Mhm.
How do we do this? How do we raise $100 million of cash equity right now? Can
Is
we do
anybody
that?
listening to the show right now who's got an extra 100 mil sitting around who wants to put it to work?
I have no plan.
Yeah. We don't have
I
a
have
plan yet.
no experience, but I have a work ethic like you wouldn't believe.
I don't
And
give up.
I only want like 50%.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it's reasonable.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
The stuff that I could do, TK, with $100 million of cash, I still don't think I could find the good deal, though. That's the thing. Like
No.
everything
What are
I'm looking
prices?
at, 4 caps. Everything's a 4 cap or
Yeah.
a 1.5 cap. I keep seeing that number. It's like, how are people deciding if they want to be a 1.5 cap or a 4 cap right now? And how are they even going like, okay, chances are they need some debt. Debt's at like what? 6% for a commercial property right now?
Mhm.
Maybe 5%?
Minimum.
I would say
No,
minimum 6%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like most of them have shitty rent. So like I don't know how they come up with a 4 cap based on shit rents and all kinds of capex needing to be done. And like, I don't know, maybe you can turn it into a 6 cap one day, but still you can't cover your debt. So what has to happen? Either a whole ton of cash or something has to change here, right? Prices have to change. Like, I don't think people keep asking, can we see another 10, 15, 20% down in residential? I don't know. Did you see the numbers from December? Like nobody bought anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally like we're closed. The Toronto real estate market is closed for December. We're not going to sell anything this month.
We beat our December numbers on our team from last year.
How were they last year?
Well, I mean, they were probably in a normal December. I don't know. It's probably a good
I
December.
thought everybody wants to eliminate the last couple of years like they
just
didn't exist.
They just told me on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, they just told us on Wednesday. They said we actually did better in December 2022 than we did 2021.
I wonder how much the marketing budget changed since last year.
Probably went up.
Probably went up significantly.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Not that I notice a difference. I see the same level of Frank Leo everywhere.
Good.
There's a lot of Frank Leo going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of Frank out there.
Are you guys hiring?
Yep.
You guys are looking for new agents?
We're looking for new agents. If you're listening to this and you want to change your life in the real estate industry,
join a good team.
There's a bunch of, I'm sure you can find us. It's pretty easy to find us. Right? Reach out to me directly. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but you hear of like mortgage brokerages starting to shed jobs. I imagine a lot of realtors have ran for the exits by now. No,
I don't know if that's the case, like ran for the exits, but I think that like there's more people coming to us right now trying to join because of the change in their sales. And I've noticed the talent has improved too. So the people who we were hearing from before were people who were maybe like new or just never really got, into the industry. But now we have people who are like, had hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of income at one point in a year and are now coming and saying, look, my income isn't anywhere near what it used to be. And I got a family to feed. Right. So they have all this experience and stuff like that. And so that's a sign of the times changing for sure. Definitely.
So what does that mean? That because I guess around New Year's, a lot of people make a change with their brokerage because it's the brokerage's fault that they had a shitty year the year before, right? It's like, fuck this place.
That's exactly what happened.
Right?
Eh?
Every
That's
year.
Exactly. I have a feeling like somebody's going to announce soon that they want to like change something that I know, right? Like someone's going to tell me I've done this or I've done that.
But I'll bet 100%. You people are like paying more to the next brokerage because it was that last place's fault. And now that I'm at this place, even though I'm paying a bit more to be here.
Yeah. They're going to give me more. And the last
shine.
guy I saved money on, but he never gave me anything. So now this time
shine this year, TK.
Yeah.
This is my place.
Yeah. And you know what else I've noticed?
Right at Home Realty in Brampton is where I'm going to park myself.
I can't tell you if that brokerage is good or not. I'm not here to bad talk any brokerage. Every brokerage is good, including, but not limited to the one that you just mentioned.
Yes.
...
Hey, if you want to sell stuff, that's the place.
But I've also noticed on the buyer, like, so because I'm mostly on the listing side, like I do have buyers, I do represent buyers. There's nothing wrong with that. It just happens to be mostly on the listing side. I deal with a lot of buyers agents bringing offers, and I've noticed that they are very
stupid.
Not stupid, but you can sense that they want deals to go through.
Yeah, it's like, help me.
You can
I
sense
need this thing to happen.
Where even though, they're like, oh, the price is this. Once their buyer likes a property,
TK,
they might not have done a deal for a while. And so they're like, oh, like let's get this done. Let's get this done. And I did really well in December on a few deals with sellers where, I just was like firm on, certain terms, and they went together because those agents want to get deals done.
Still conditional offers all over the place though, right?
Yeah. I don't think I had, not that I can remember right now, any firm offers.
Are we having like bidding wars with conditional offers?
But it's a fucked up situation. I can't even talk about it on the call, unfortunately. But I had one firm offer.
Yeah. One firm offer that you can't talk about.
Can't talk about. Yeah.
What kind of bullshit is that?
I know it is.
Why can't you talk about it?
Because there's like a power sale proceeding, and then there's all sorts of other obstacles that are there, and yeah, it's just, you never know how much this YouTube video could get me in trouble later on.
With the amount of views this
I'm better
thing
off
gets,
just say nothing. I'm literally out of it now. I did my job very well, and my job is like over. So anything else that happens, it's not up to me. So,
you've said too much. Again, look at you. You're going to get us in trouble. I'm not editing this. I don't have time for this.
I didn't say anything.
Nobody has time for this anymore.
Yeah. So what
now
else is going
we gotta
on?
work. We gotta work now.
What else was in the news? There was something else that was
I don't know. I had
prevalent.
the crazy numbers because, like, oh my god, now if you're selling your house, you might TK.
Yeah.
If you are a seller now, if you're
Yeah.
crazy enough to be a seller right now, you may have to wait like 30 days to sell your house on average now.
The seller's market, I'm telling you.
This is bananas.
I know the comments say seller's market.
Seller's market. TK, you're just a
Look,
shill, man.
I'm just saying, you know, that
fucking paid shill
the
by
months
the
of inventory
industry.
is still low and that you can sell. You know, we're selling places. If you
What were
got it
months of
priced right
inventory?
and
I
you're doing a
forgot.
good job, you can get it sold, no problem. So
What's months
looking
of
at this,
inventory?
total number of sales changed for December was 48. It was down 48%.
Total sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3,000 sales for the
3,000
month.
sales, like
It's
way
crazy.
lower. Yeah, way lower.
TK, I could do that on my own. I don't even need the rest of the market to sell 3,000 houses.
An average price for all type of dwellings was down 9.2%.
That's the bitch.
Yeah.
That's the stinger.
I think that's the no, that's not the lowest.
Spin it.
2017.
Spin it for us, TK. Spin it.
No,
for
I was
us.
about to say I think that's the worst year over year I've ever heard of, but no, it's not.
the Frank
2017.
Leo team.
I think we went up to 15.
Rosy. Here we go. Everything's better over here.
Hey, if you're looking for a career in real estate. No, but that's bad. 9.2% down year over year. Like, holy smokes.
So, but hold on a sec. The inventory went up like crazy too, right?
Yeah.
Like 150% or something. Bananas. Meanwhile,
active listings is up 169%.
169% up from last year,
From
right?
last
From
December,
last year. Which again, we all know everything last year's last year. What about last month? We got to start doing those stats again. My stats were better than everybody's stats except for Santo, because Santo looks at like yesterday, not fucking 6 years
He's
ago.
good. He's on top of things. Yeah.
Santo Sessa is the man.
Yeah.
That guy's stats are right there. The way he displays them are just perfect. Actually, better yet, we should not do it again. We'll just embarrass ourselves.
If you want,
we don't need to do
go
that.
to Santo's channel. Don't listen to us for stats.
But okay, the numbers are staggering, but can we put them into some kind of a perspective where they're not as scary as they look, or are we just gonna like run with the media? Because
I am 100% sure that there's a lot of people who want to move in 2023.
Like as a New Year's thing?
There's so many people who want to move for legitimate reasons. And this whole year, there's been a bunch of people who have just basically said it's not a good time because as prices are moving so fast, it's very difficult to be able to establish a plan that is not, very risky. But there's a lot of people
so goddamn fast. What's going on here?
I've been talking to so many new people who own a home or condo and they're looking to purchase as well. Most of them are upsizing. And like our friend Tom Story, who has been out there very vocally talking about how he just bought a new property for himself.
Yeah, but watch his face when he says it every time. He gulps after. This was bad timing. He's got to be in for a 6% mortgage or something now, 5% mortgage.
But well, whatever. If he had a mortgage before, he's in for the same thing. There's no difference. He would have poured it over any rate that he had, or if it was a variable, then it makes no difference. So I don't think that's a factor. What I think is a factor is that the higher price points are down a lot more. If you just look at this, detached house prices year over year change total is down 13.4%. Condo apartments are only down 0.9%.
Where?
This is on
Toronto?
the Treb. Yeah, December Treb market watch.
13% from when?
Detached year over year are down 13%. And condo apartments are only down 0.9%.
What about from peak? That seems to be the benchmark of everything now. From peak, TK. From the peak.
About peak right now. Okay, we're just talking about the difference between condos and houses. So if you're going to go from a condo to a house, it makes sense to do it now more than any other time that we've seen before.
From a condo to a house?
From a condo to a house.
From a condo to a house.
You're saving big bucks.
Big bucks.
Yeah.
Where are you saving?
What do you mean? So if you're going to go from an $800,000 condo to a $1.2 million house, townhouse, semi, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And, you were going to do that back in February.
Yeah.
So now you got a $400,000 gap to close. Well, now the market's gone down a little bit for the condos. Maybe, you know, you're at 750 now for the condos.
Yeah.
But depending
That's bad, right? That's bad. That's
it's
50
fine.
grand.
You're selling
less.
50 grand less on your condo. But that house at 1.2 million could arguably be down 20+% from peak. So we're talking about $300,000 savings. So now your gap just went from 800 to 1.2 to 750 to 900.
My fairy tale gap.
That's not a fairy tale gap. Those
may
are real
have
numbers.
happened or may not.
Those are
have
real
happened.
numbers.
It ended up
in a hypothetical situation.
They're real numbers in hindsight,
right?
That may or may not have ever happened.
All I'm saying is, there's my spin for the day, that you should be upgrading in this market
if you can afford a 6% mortgage. But what if it goes to 8%?
But if you've got a mortgage on your property right now for $500,000 on that $800,000 condo, and you're in a fixed mortgage, make sure you can port that mortgage over with you, and they can do a blended rate. So you're paying on that $500,000 the same rate that you've been paying, that you would be paying. It doesn't change for the rest of the term.
Yeah, if they let you do it.
If they let you do it. Most of the time they do, unless you have like a no frills mortgage that, you know, you shouldn't have gotten in the first place. And you should have.
TK, where are rates going, bro? We skipped over the most important thing here.
Now we're going to talk about it.
100,000 people, 100,000 new jobs, which, depending on who you listen to, most of those jobs are like bullshit, and like the people couldn't trust the people they had working for them, so they doubled up because people were calling in sick every 2 seconds because nobody gives a fuck. Can I tell you, my daughter, okay, it took her 2 weeks to get into, you know what, they don't pay me enough to give a fuck enough about this. Like, I'm just gonna do it like this now, Dad. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you tell your daughter?
I don't like what I'm hearing. You gotta keep going. You gotta
commit.
No
you gotta
matter
say
what.
you made a commitment to them. You got to show you're dedicated.
But look how
you got to be the best damn employee ever.
Look how quickly they broke her.
Yeah.
Now she's like, listen, I don't want to work in this department. If you have a problem with that, I don't give a shit. I'm out of here. I'm like, oh, must be nice to be able to have that kind of schlep in the industry already, right? She's like, I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and from this time to this time. And if they don't like it, then I'm just gonna leave.
Ouch.
I'm like, this is amazing. Can you imagine being able to do that?
Listen, I saw in the news
back in my day, bro.
You guys, you know, there's lots of jobs out there, and it seems like you guys are probably gonna have a hard time finding people. So I'm going to be here on Monday and Wednesdays and maybe Fridays. I'll let you know.
I'll let you know.
I'll let you know if I can make it on Fridays or not. Yeah. But otherwise, if you're not happy with those terms, I mean, I got like 3 other offers right now.
Yeah.
And they're all much better. But, you know, let me know.
I'll do you a favor.
Don't call me after 6 though. Just text me.
Yeah. And don't fuck up on my paycheck. Okay.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I guess, if you remember, I told you she walked in there and like they were just bazooka or shotgun blast, like hiring. They were, anybody that got hit by the shrapnel got a job, right? So it seems that more people than less used the same strategy over the holidays.
Yeah. What does job market equate to? So you know what a really good point, and I should listen to it again. I should have listened to it again. Was
Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick's comment.
Which
about
one?
Jobs on the
he was
show.
Very vocal. Yeah, he
had a great insight into what the job market meant and how this unemployment rate is not something that they should be looking at.
Yeah, no, he says it's a horrible, unhealthy job market where nobody has any stability, and it's very hard to run a business when, you know, your good people could disappear overnight. Right. For $5,000 to the next guy.
Yeah. We need to get back to a 6% unemployment rate in order to have a more healthy job market, right? Where people are.
I don't know what the actual number
producing
is,
more.
But like right now, it seems like, well, I mean, they keep bringing in more people. So there's just more. I mean, as an employer, you're hiring whoever will come in because you know they're going to disappear, half of them, before they even show up for the first day, right? Yeah. And then you get them and they all suck, and you got to train them. And then so if you actually get to train them for a couple of weeks, you don't want to let them go, but then they threaten to leave right away. So like what happens is the wage, this is what they're trying to avoid, is this wage growth, like this unsustainable, fast
entrenching
wage.
of the inflation in with wages and everything else.
Well, because what do you do? So you asked, why are there all these jobs? I mean, there's demand for all these services and products from all of these companies. So they need to try and keep up with demand, right? That's why Amazon hired 8 billion people over the last 2 years, because there was that much demand for it. And that's why they're firing so many people now, because there's no more demand for it, or less demand for it, right?
Yeah.
So in all these industries where they're hiring, which I don't know, I heard it was a lot of construction, a lot of like tourism, like hotels, and obviously a bunch of retail. There was like some medical, like health and life science kind of stuff. I guess it was across the board. Manufacturing. Get ready for manufacturing jobs, baby. Like, we got to start producing stuff here. It's got to be happening. I mean, if you try and buy an industrial building, it's harder than buying a house right now. It's crazy how tight that market is. So like, I guess everybody realizes there's a boom coming here. There's no space. Buy industrial, because people need industrial to put all the shit into. But they're trying to crush the demand. I don't know what's going on, but like the only answer is higher interest rates.
That's what I'm getting at. That's
right?
what I was
Like,
waiting
there's
for.
only one answer.
There's only one answer.
Riddle,
and I think, and based on our discussion
is
last week with all the boys and girls there, was that, you know, again, all Patrick's points were fantastic. Higher interest rates will not lower the price of gas. Higher interest rates will not lower the price of food. Higher interest rates are not going to change certain things that are equating to this high inflation rate. So
Patrick heard that from me months ago. Guaranteed. Okay,
Good.
TK, enough with the giving everybody my credit. Okay.
So Darryl, the smartest guy on the show from last week, had influenced everybody to have some really great points. And what happened was, is the lights started going off in my head.
Finally.
Okay.
With
the lights started going off in my head. That says that we are not going to see as many interest rate hikes as we might have thought.
More.
Yeah.
More.
There's not going to be as many.
Well, you think
that's why they're already talking about a quarter point this month too. I'm not saying
talking about that
continue to go up.
This. They were talking quarter point like 6 months ago.
I said nothing in December. I was wrong. But what I'm trying to say is, is that eventually the Bank of Canada is going to realize that what they're doing isn't working.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually, they're going to realize. They're going to see the employment numbers still being really strong. They're going to see the cost of fuel and food and other contributors still elevated, right? And these are all going to be things that are going to be outside their control. And that the old ways of dealing with inflation, with rate tightening policies and rate hiking policies, are a thing of the past, right? Because even the way that they were dealing with the pandemic and the quantitative easing and everything else by lowering interest rates, this caused a whole nother thing. This is all a learning cycle that the central banks are all in right now, because they thought they had this easy cure for the last few decades that, we can just control inflation like this, like that. But it's obviously not the only factor. It's obviously not the Band-Aid or the fix, the cure that's going to be able to just make everything go away. And I think that they're starting to realize that, because there's a lot of pain out there, right? And eventually there'll be more pain. More pain is coming, 100%. No doubt about it. Real estate market pain is coming. We haven't even seen a lot of it yet. I'm witnessing it firsthand. Okay, so there's a bunch of people who are going to need to sell really soon, right? And so when that happens, and then the Bank of Canada is going to be looking, and they're going to be looking, and they're going to say, okay, what's the CPI at now? And it's going to still be close to where it is today. It's barely going to.
They only do a quarter point. Like,
it's barely going to budge.
How? Yeah. What's the point of a quarter point? Look, based on, everything that we know and everywhere that we've been and everyone that we've talked to, we figure probably 5,000 jobs for next month. That seems reasonable based on everything that we know today. We can't release this. Yeah. Fast forward a month, right?
Yeah.
We can't let them know this.
Did they delete their tweet?
We have to change it. We can't. No, I'll bet you it's even more than the 104,000. But like, it was like, we can't let them say more than 100,000 off. Like, this is crazy. Somebody fire that guy. Oh, it was Tiff again. Tiff, really? What is this guy doing? No, but who makes this mistake? Why are they still employed? Why do we not know his name? Why do we not know what his face looks like, or her face, or they face, depending on your political correctness? If they face isn't in the media, what does that mean right now? Why don't we know how wrong this idiot is? How wrong is that? That's like, is that in the thousands of percents wrong? Are you frozen? Oh, you blinked. No. Okay. What are you doing? What are you doing right now? What are you reading?
I'm thinking.
Why are you thinking? I'm talking.
I'm singing.
Are you singing?
I'm
while
singing.
I'm talking? Well, you're just so rude today, TK.
Like I'm listening, but I'm thinking. I'm not doing anything.
Am I making you think, or are you trying to?
I'm thinking out loud. I mean,
me?
right now I'm just talking, and so
I
agree
understand.
with everything that you say, and I'm talking about.
People are gonna lose their entire lives over these fucking idiots that are so
affected
wrong.
By interest rates.
Who's affected by interest rates?
Who's affected by interest rates? List the people right now who are affected by interest rates. So business owners, homeowners in a variable rate, homeowners who have a mortgage renewal coming up, buyers, people who want to buy a house,
people with credit cards, people with lines of credits, people that breathe, people with blood in their bodies. Everybody's affected by interest rates. Look at food. Like, everything gets affected by interest rates. Look at gas. Everything.
If everyone was affected, why
do we still going out and shopping?
Have such incredible demand in so many sectors?
This is what I wanted to know, TK. Yeah. Where are the retail numbers from December? Where are those numbers? Because anybody I talk to that has a retail establishment, when I ask them how were sales, how was Boxing Day, or how was like December, which I mean, most of them are waiting all fucking year for December. Most of them make their margin in December, for God's sakes, right?
Yeah.
They're all like they want to kill themselves right now. Nobody even wants to talk about it. It's so slow. But then you see videos in Foot Locker where people are like jumping off the top rope for the new Nikes and killing each other.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So were the numbers good for retail? Because all of a sudden Amazon's getting rid of 18,000 people. Remember I said, who are you gonna give credit to for this one? Remember I said, wait till after Christmas and Boxing Day and everybody starts firing everybody. Wait to see the carnage on the streets then. 18,000 people just from Amazon got to figure out how they're going to pay their bills next month. Maybe not next month, but in like 3 months when that check runs out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they have the retail numbers out for December.
No, they don't. I think they're hiding them from us. It's the 7th, TK. Why don't we have the retail numbers yet? Because they're so bad. Wait till people just start firing people en masse. If Amazon they just got rid of like 10,000 jobs the month previous, or 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think that what everyone has to realize right now is that nobody has a clue. Nobody has a clue. Everybody's got their own thing.
Clue.
Everybody's got their own thing. I think the world is very polarized, right? It's like, what side of the aisle are you? Left wing or you right wing? Do you think the market's a bear market or it's a bull market? Are vaccines good or are they bad? Like, there's so many, like, the dichotomy of society where everybody's got this, like, you have to be in one camp. You have to be thinking one way. And if you're on the other side, then you're my enemy and you don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's really, really, really changed over the last
there's no gray years. We need to swim in the gray.
We need more gray. We need more gray.
I
am so far into the gray.
You're very gray.
Someone asked me the other day, they said, TK, which political party would you run for if you were going to be, interested in being prime minister?
Whoa, TK, okay. Are you making an announcement?
Look, this is what my answer was, okay?
I don't know if this is a bad idea or a good idea. I was just going to run for mayor just for some publicity, but this is great.
I said, okay, if I were going to run for prime minister in Canada, which I'm not going to be in the future, the party that I would choose, because there really is only two parties, I would choose to be the
There's only two
head.
parties?
Yeah, well, it's only two parties that ever seem to win the federal election.
Hmm.
I would choose to be the head of the party that was currently not in power.
Not in power. You think that that is a safe move?
That would be the safe move to try to get elected, because people would say, well, we want change, so let's vote for the other guys. And I will be the other guy.
Do they always want change? It seems to me that
People want
Trudeau's been
change.
around for a while.
People want change though, but the next guy will come in and it'll be changed. They're not going to say, hey, we want to vote for someone else in that same party. They're going to say, we want change, and it'll be the other guy.
I can't sit here with you,
Mhm.
TK, and pretend like the voting process is the reason that we have the people that we have in power. I won't let
Why?
you do that to me, TK.
What do you mean?
Come on.
I'm
Wake
just saying
up.
my best chances would be on the other guy's team.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
But it
I'm
won't.
in the middle is what I'm trying. That's the point of this. Let's not talk about
You're in the
politics.
middle. You can't.
I'm in
You
the middle.
can't be in the middle.
I really do
People
believe
want
that the
you to be
market's
on
going to
a
go up.
side.
I really do believe the market's going to go up. Right now, the market is going down. That is obvious.
Like this is like a macro call, because
Like right now, the market is going down. It's
Steve
obvious.
Soretsky called the bottom yesterday or
The
2
numbers,
days ago.
the numbers are coming in. We haven't seen the bottom yet. It's
Haven't
still
seen the
driving.
bottom.
It's still driving down, but eventually things will get better and the demand
Eventually.
will return, because it's a great city. It's a great country.
So are we
There's
going to
great
see
real
like
estate.
are
There's
we going
lots
to
of money.
are we going to see like a 12-year period to get prices back to
Those
where they
those
were?
peak numbers were pretty high. Those peak numbers were pretty high. It'll take a while to get back to those numbers for sure.
A while to get back to those
But I still think real estate's
numbers.
a great investment. You know, I think that, for other polarized issues, there's good points on both sides. I won't get into them, but there's good points on both sides. I think it's a good place to be.
In the
Living
middle.
outside the world of absolutes.
I agree.
But
I don't know that there's a but. It's hard to find other people that are willing to live in that gray land with you, because
it's a
people
great
just
place.
want. Yeah, it's a great place, but you're either a shill for one side or the other, because nobody believes that you're really in the middle.
Why not?
Because you have to have an agenda. You're a scumbag.
I don't.
You
No,
are
I'm in the
a
middle.
realtor.
I'm in the
TK.
middle.
You can't. You can't
Why?
sit there and say that you're not influenced by your profession with your opinion.
I will bring this point up again over and over and over again. If I am focused on listings and I'm constantly selling listings, and every person I met, I said, hey, the market is going up and it's only going up. It's the best time. Like, it's not a good time to sell, because tomorrow the prices are going to go up. So hang on to your property. I would be out of business.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
I can't be 100% markets are going to go up. I do believe long term. If people say to me, should I keep my property? I'm going to hang on to it as an investment. My answer is almost always, depending on their situation.
Okay, here. Ready?
Keep that property, hang on to it long term. But if
We're
you
gonna
got
do a
immediate
role
needs
play.
for funds, now is better than tomorrow. I'm telling you that.
We're gonna do a role play. TK.
Okay. Hey, Daryl.
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. I got roped into this house by this other guy, this other realtor guy. Got roped into this $2.4 million house in Pickering. Oh, it's a lovely house. You should see it one day. You should come by.
Sure.
Anyways,
Great.
I'm a little nervous because I locked in at 1%
Mm-hmm.
on a $2 million mortgage.
Great. Smart move.
Well, it was looking like a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually throwing parades for me back home.
Yeah.
But now when I look at the numbers, it's going to be really hard to pay for this on my salary.
Okay.
Which the reason I'm calling you, TK, is because I lost my job.
Oh my God. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I made like 86,000 a year.
That's a great job.
And yeah, well, I can no longer service my debt on my $2 million mortgage.
How much
this
is your
house in
mortgage
Pickering?
amount?
2 million. I just told you. Doesn't
And
that
so,
make
and what's
sense?
your
I
mortgage
have
payment?
400,000 in equity that I
Yeah.
saved over the last 62 years.
You had 400,000 in equity.
Yeah, and they gave me the $2 million mortgage, which makes
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah,
obviously.
you had
on an
400,000 in equity, but you don't have
$86,000
it anymore.
income. No, I have nothing now.
Sorry to tell you.
TK.
Sorry
I
to
have
break the news to
nothing.
you.
But my neighbor's house just sold for 1.5 million, TK.
Yeah. You know what I saw the other day is at Giant Tiger, they have a sale on craft dinner.
Yep.
So what I'm going to need you to do is I need you to go and buy every box that they have on that shelf.
I actually
You don't have any other options other than to cut back on expenses, and you need to find a job. I heard Amazon was hiring before,
but
but now they're cutting jobs, so you're probably going to have to go somewhere else.
I have my renewal coming up. I'm good for like the next 7 months, but I have my renewal coming up in 8 months, TK.
Yeah. My friend Daryl's daughter got a great job recently. I'm going to ask him where that is, and I can probably give you a contact. Apparently, they're hiring.
No, I can get a job. I can get another fantastic job. I could probably find another job that makes even like $87,000 a year pretty quickly right now.
To service a $2 million mortgage, I think you're going to have some problems. But I get what you're saying. These are real scenarios out there, and we're just making fun and having a good time. But yeah, like those are real scenarios out there that there's some big adult decisions that have to be made by people coming up really soon. We're not there yet. We're not at the bottom yet. There's some really big adult decisions that are going to be coming up in 2023 for people to make in order to be able to get themselves out of trouble. And the market has been bailing people out for a long time. The market's been bailing people out for like ever.
But if you don't have to buy something,
Mm-hmm.
like what has to happen for prices not to get worse?
What has to happen for prices not to get worse?
Yeah. Like
Interest
we need
rates
a
have to
interest
come
rate
down. There needs to
reversal
be
instantly.
some sentiment has to come back from
point
buyers
is,
that real estate's a
Prices
great
are
investment.
coming down, bro.
Remember what Jordan said, right? It's not about price in these pre-construction condo development sales centers. They can be the best deal on the block. It's about all these other people want it, therefore, so do I. That's what real estate is. If anybody thinks it's anything different, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's just not the way the market works. So once sentiment returns and we start seeing some stabilization, once rates change, once any signal that you can come up with that says that, you know, rates are going to start changing directions or inflation numbers are going to start changing directions, that's when you're going to see people all of a sudden say, I've got money, it's just sitting there, and I'm going to deploy it into real estate. And there are a lot of people with money right now sitting, waiting.
A lot of people
waiting to put that money into something. Cash. Hard, cold, hard cash. So that's what's going to happen is eventually the sentiment's going to change way before any of those macro events start to really take place. It'll be a much more, micro type of change in how people's behaviors are when they're buying and selling. That'll be based on, different things. Right now there's lack of inventory. Maybe there's going to be some other changes that are coming up, maybe some government policies, right? Tax incentives. There's going to be something where all of a sudden buyers are going to snap out of it and go, oh, stress test from OSFI, like, all these type of things can come up.
Well, I think we have a while. I think
too.
that this next rate hike, unless like retail sales numbers are drastically down and all of a sudden people start laying people off all over the place, I got a feeling that a quarter point would be a miracle.